Andrew Palmer, and we're discussing all things women's volleyball. So this past week, you played Rockford, another conference team, and you were able to secure the win against them. Using different lineups, you're throwing in different players, but you have consistent players like Hunt and Perkins. So with these players, like, what do you instill in them with them on the court just for consistency purposes?
Yeah, every day and every game is different. I mean, even practice to practice can be a little bit different, I think. And, as athletes, our notion is, oh, I'm going to play great, or this is what I think me playing great looks like. And for us, it's about finding ways to make impacts. You may think, hey, I'm going to be really offensive today, and maybe that's not quite where it needs to be, but I can impact the game in certain ways. So we just talk about finding ways to impact the game every day. Some days it might be your offense, some days it might be blocking, some days it might just be pure energy. So we talk about finding those ways of just impacting the game on a daily basis.
And in the preseason rankings, you were ranked around the middle for conference play. What are you doing for your team to get a higher seeding conference and make playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's really just staying true to ourselves. Like, we don't need to be a different team every single game. We need to know what the other team wants to do and how they might try to attack us. But ultimately, how can we win the game being ourselves and being true to ourselves? So it's not necessarily about, we have to be a completely different team every game, every conference game, or every game in general. It's just about finding what we do best and holding true to ourselves.
And with your game against Wisconsin Lutheran, one of the things that was a struggle was somewhat server speed.
Yeah.
So what have you guys improved in practice that correlated to this weekend with Rockford and Lawrence?
Yeah, I think it's really just continuing to get reps, continuing to see different things, and just working on the fundamentals and being solid there. I think it's just seeing the more balls we see, the more reps we get. The better prepared we are. So I think it's just kind of seeing more things in practice and building continuity together.
And as these games, a conference approach, your underclassmen, they're getting their feet wet.
Yeah.
What have you been doing with the stress of these games? Just like it's their first collegiate games, but on top of that, it's their first conference series that they're playing in.
Sure. We don't put the pressure on. Oh, this is a conference game. Every game's important to us. Conference is how you get to the postseason and how you ultimately get to the NCAA tournament. But for us, it's just about playing loose and playing together and having fun. This is a sport after all, and there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of growth to happen. But at the same time, it's a sport and we shouldn't be enjoying it. So just staying loose and having a good time with it, is really kind of been the message.
And now that you guys are having more games within the week, you have 3 this week. Besides that, are not a try.
Sure.
That you have 3 within a week.
Yeah.
What are you doing for your athletes just to prepare for the games that are more constant, where it's one day, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday?
It's really just kind of compartmentalizing things we need to work on, whether it's a tactic for an opponent, it could be maybe something we just weren't great at and we just want to revisit and kind of clean up a little bit. We're not trying to go crazy intense practice, we're just trying to get things done and maintain health. So that way when we get into the game, we're ready to go and we know what to expect, as opposed to, hey, we're just trying to get better at all these things and we're trying to have really intense practices. We're really just trying to focus on ourselves and what we can do better in the moment, and then take each game one at a time.
And specifically with this try against Central College and Lawrence University, with there's a new player that stepped up that had some playing time, Rachel Lucy. She was the kill leader in both games. Compared to the previous couple games, she really hasn't seen that playing time.
Sure.
So what have you been telling her and preparing her to do so that when she goes in these games, to take that leadership role and bring these kills and be that kill leader?
Yeah, I mean, for Rachel played a lot last year as a true freshman. And this year, we're getting people opportunity and just kind of maintaining what her expectation is. What she does best and not being someone else, but she just needs to be Rachel and what she can do to impact the game and ultimately how to impact the game. And she was given an opportunity and she ran with it, and she had a really good week this past week.
And from yesterday until now today, you guys are taking on Eureka. What have your team been preparing on in practice and just mentally for that game?
Yeah, just another opportunity to step on the court together and continue to improve. It's a non-conference game, but it's still important to us, and it's at home, and so that's also very important to us. Just cleaning up little mistakes for us. It's about doing the little things well. When we're just relaxed and we're playing and we're doing the little things right, the game goes really smoothly for us. Even if it's a tight game, it still goes really smoothly for us. And so just really kind of honing in on those little aspects of the game for us.
And having this home stretch, what do you expect for like CUC as a whole for watching your team?
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to have a great turnout. Today is going to be neon theme day, so wear some bright colors and bring some energy to the court. And, I think we're doing some good things as a program right now, and it would be really great to have more people in the gym to kind of witness it and have that support for their peers.
Coverage for all sports can be found at CUCougars.com. Tonight, the women's volleyball program is playing Eureka College this Tuesday. Coverage that can be found here at Geisman and also at CUCougars.com. My name has been Van Gato, and this has been Andrew Palmer, and this has been your Coaches
Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside Geisman Gymnasium as we get set for some NCAA Division III women's volleyball action between your Concordia University Chicago Cougars and the visiting Red Devils of Eureka College. Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, joined by Van Gato. And Van, we should have an interesting non-conference game ahead of us tonight before the Cougars really hit the conference portion of their schedule. Before we get to all that, however, let's go through the starting lineups one more time for everybody watching at home. First, for the visiting Red Devils of Eureka College is number 5, Brooklyn Shell, number 11, Claire Schaffner, number 14, Haley Gauna, number 16, Alyssa Companies, number 17, Franny Heckman, and number 20, Malaya Nagel. Libero for the Red Devils is number 4, Chloe O'Donohue, and the head coach in her 3rd season at the helm is Candace Van Bogart. Meanwhile, CUC, the Cougars throwing out number 1, Acacia Brown, number 1, Shaira Marin, number 9, Jesselyn Perkins, number 10, Lily Hunt, number 19, Melena Adler, and number 26, Brooke Christensen. Libero for CUC is Bethany Rothel. Coaches are Michaela Fincher, Simone Speech, and head coach in his 2nd year at the helm is Coach Andrew Palmer. As we are off and running here in Geisman, Cougars get an early kill from Brooke Christensen, who, Van, the numbers speak for themselves. She has been the main offensive threat so far this year for CUC.
She's an undersized outside, but she really has taken a stronger role on this team and really showed that she can get kills.
Well, she got one earlier, and now Shaira Marin with a service ace puts the Cougars up 2-0 early. As a team this year, the CUC squad with that service ace right there has 100 total service aces on the season already. This is a team who has really excelled in that portion of the game, as Eureka able to get on the board here with their first kill of the night.
For a team, they're really, with their service aces, they're a strong first contact team on the service end, but really the service receive game has been kind of shaky for the Cougars this season. So really stepping up during these games, these non-conference games, and fixing their service receive is what they should be focusing on.
Well, they struggle on the receive portion. Their service ace for number 5 of the visiting Red Devils, Brooklyn Shell, a senior out of Evansville, Indiana, as her next serve is picked up by Bethany Rothel. Now Brooke Christensen with an attempt gets to help her by the net, and the Cougars back on top by 1 after the Red Devils briefly tied things up.
Well, being undersized, the best thing about that is you could be way more tricky when you're hitting the ball and using the block against them.
As there's another service ace for CUC, the freshman, Jesselyn Perkins, standing out for the Cougars. She will get service ace number 24 on the season. That leads all Cougars, and she's doing it as a freshman, as she puts a little too much on this attempt, goes out, and that'll give the serve back to the Red Devils.
Perkins like a strong middle presence for the Cougars, really providing a lot of blocks, a lot of kills, and really, when they're in system, one of their main options to set.
Perkins, a 6'1" freshman out of Chicago. She's not only the tallest player on this Cougars roster, she's the only player listed at 6 feet or taller. So as Van said, bringing that strong middle presence for CUC in her first year on the squad, as Adler, another first year, goes for the set and will get an assist on the kill from Acacia Brown. As Melena Adler continues her standout season as a setter, the Cougars coming into the season, Van, had a hole in that position with Isabel Vernango, their all-conference setter from the last couple of years, exiting due to graduation. But Melena Adler has done a nice job of filling that hole so far this year.
Specifically as a freshman, too, really stepping up, dishing out the ball, getting those high assist numbers is outstanding alone just for a freshman to get that playing time and to see the court, but taking such a strong leadership role on the team and just being out there all the time.
Adler comes into tonight with 400 assists on the dot, as she has settled nicely into the organizer of the CUC defense. Meanwhile, CUC's top kill getter, Brooke Christensen, she has stopped there, and that ball able to stay within the lines for a Red Devil point. as after a 3-0 run from CUC, Eureka back within 3. The chance to serve here. Serve will come from number 2, Alexi Laromatis, as Christensen gets CUC back in control. Kill off the blocker's hands, utilizing those blockers. As Van mentioned earlier, she'll now go back to serve. CUC on top by 4 here, 8-4.
Livesay wasn't a freshman. She was a freshman last year, but she received a lot of playing time. This year, not so much, but she really has been stepping up these past couple of weekends. She was the kill leader over the try matches. She's really proving herself out on the court and trying to solidify that spot, because that 0-2 spot really is up for question right now.
Yeah, Rachel Livesay, a sophomore on this Cougars roster coming out of Medina, Illinois, So far this year, Livesay has appeared in 19 sets, has 43 kills on the year, including 7 in CUC's previous game, a 3-0 loss at the hand of Central College. Second game of the CUC Triangular that was hosted this past Saturday right here in Geisman. She also led game 1 of that Triangular for CUC.
They really run their middles and really focus on their offensive side. However, with a strong middles like Brown and Perkins, they could really use their hits to their advantage and find court space.
So on the year, the Red Devils are giving up 11.7 kills per set in the SLIAC, the St. Louis Interathletic Conference. That 11.7 mark is second most in the conference. Meanwhile, in terms of their own kill numbers, they're averaging 7.57 kills a set, and that is also 9th ranked. Their height. Couple 5'10s, couple 5'11s, and then Perkins at 6'3". So there is, as Van said, definitely some height present on this roster. As Adler for Hunt. Hunt gets blocked. Good duo block there from a couple of Red Devils. Now let's attempt from two errors on their part. We haven't had any errors yet.
Okay, so then I'll just reset everything up. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Point Red Devil. Service number 4.
Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, dealing with some technical difficulties up here in the booth, so apologies to all those watching. While we were off, Cougars maintaining a 13-11 lead, and we can talk about this next break we get, Van, but this is a game that so far has been a lot closer than the stats on the stat book represent. CUC is out hitting Eureka by 153. CUC just recently committed their first attack error, so we'll have a chance to talk about that some more once we get a break here. Meanwhile, CUC up 14-11. Attempt sent over. Shire Marin in the back row. Now here comes Acacia Brown, and the Red Devils, some good defense there. They pop it back over. There's Marin again. Adler, she looks for Christensen. Big block up front for the Red Devils. Now Lily Hunt will try an attempt. Gets it over the initial blockers. Ball at the net, and Red Devils not able to recover. And that leads to a CUC point, back up by 4 now. And that'll be the first time out of the evening, and it'll be called by Coach Van Bogart and the Red Devils. They trail CUC 15-11, but let's look at some of these statistics so far. In terms of hitting percentage, a big disparity there. CUC hitting 348 to Eureka's 188. Meanwhile, CUC only 1 attack error. Eureka's only committed 2, however. But despite all that, despite some of those big discrepancies, Van, this has still been a pretty even match throughout the whole way. I mean, 4 points is about the biggest lead we've seen CUC hold, and maybe 5 points earlier. But despite what that hitting percentage suggests, this game's a lot closer than the stats may show.
For Eureka, at least, they seem like they have been really in system. Their serve receive is one of their strengths for their game. They could really set up the middle and really use that. Seeing that with Company and Gane, really getting those high attempt marks for at least middles. They're utilized the most compared to their outsides on their team. Versus the Cougars, who've really been setting up Brooke Christensen and really Livsley, really using that to their advantage on the other end, really spreading the court. The Cougars are able to do that compared to the Devils.
Well, CUC, they're coming into tonight's match 7-6 overall, 1-1 in conference play. This is a non-con game as NAC play will resume this Thursday right here in Geisman for the Cougars. They take on Benedictine. Meanwhile, Eureka, a 2-6 record so far this year, including 2-3 in SLIAC play. So they've not won a non-conference game yet. And this is a Eureka team who has really struggled over the last couple of years. Last year, 3-22, 2-16 records. And they lost 11 straight games to end the season. This is a Red Devils team who's trying to get back on track under third-year head coach Van Bogart. As that ball takes a hop off the net, Christensen plays it. Now she'll get an attempt, and she'll get a kill out of it.
Well, the serve receive for the Red Devils is really, really good. Their defense is one of their more lacking areas. Just the Cougars need to really find those corners where their defensive players are really out of position, because that's really what the Red Devils need to fix in order to score more points.
Set here, does it stay in, and it just pings the corner. You cannot place that ball any better if you try. That is from Alyssa Company, middle blocking freshman for Eureka. As Company does in fact lead the squad in kills with 80 kills so far on the year, as Acacia Brown, a strong attempt and even stronger block up front. Livesay, she'll give that ball a little punch over. The Red Devils able to play it. Here comes a push from Eureka. CUC handles it no issue. Now Livesay, she'll get another shot, and an errant hit there. Buries it into the net for the Red Devils point, as they are back within 2.
Seems like the Red Devils are not even using more perimeter defense. They're more rotational, having their setter move up and pull up, or their right back per se, move up. Well, the middle back and left back are really pulling up back deep and getting those cross shots.
Adler, she looks for Livesay again, and a block, but it goes out. Big block up front from Eureka. They've done a good job of getting some hands on the ball. In that case, though, just could not keep it in bounds, so CUC ups their lead back up to 3. As it is Rothel, CUC's Libero to start out tonight. Played every set as Libero on Saturday during the CUC Triangular. CUC picking up a sweep against Lawrence in Game 1, and then we're swept by Central College in Game 2. And there's Rachel Livesay. She was the kill leader for both those games, and she gets a kill there to bring her to 3 on the night.
For the Red Devils, I am actually stumbled by this defense. They are rotating in a way that is to cover both corners, but it leaves a lot of room for error, especially when the ball hits that campfire area, as we say in volleyball, which the Cougars really need to capitalize on to get those kills.
Serve here for the Red Devils. Weird reception from Barraza. CUC does make it work, as the Red Devils, and a whistle blown, illegal touch from Brooklyn Shell. Kind of try to poke it back to her teammates, and instead drew the whistle from the refs, and it'll push Melina Adler to serve for CUC just over the top of the net. Line drive serve from the freshman Adler, as now she'll get some hands on it, try to set up Lily Hunt, and Lily Hunt Blockers might have got a piece of it, but just not enough. Ball dies down for a kill as CUC has hit that 20-point mark. 5 away from clinching set number 1. Block up front. Oh my goodness, just like Perkins. All by herself, no one even in the vicinity to help her. But when you're 6'1", and you're a standout freshman, that is all you need. Perkins picking up a huge solo block for the kill.
A close serve by the Cougars, but just shy of being out. And with Perkins being such a strong, big middle, it really provides a lot of court presence, and taking on, like, again, another strong leadership role for the Cougars is important. But with that height, she can establish that.
Serve from Claire Schaffner is played by Rothel. Now Adler looks for Livesay, and Livesay right out of reach of Alyssa Company. Livesay has been pounding that middle spot in the back row all night, and she's been reaping the benefits of it. That'll be kill number 4 for Livesay, trailing only Brooke Christensen in her 6. Shaira Marin's serve is played by O'Donohue, and block up front. Red Devils able to rebound. That was Perkins and Hunt, 2 of the tallest players on the CUC roster. Now Perkins goes for the kill, and nice dig there from Bethany Rothel. Ball hit right at her quickly, able to pick it up in time. Attempt here, and there's Rothel again. Doing a good job wherever she is on the court, and there's a huge hit. And a big deflection off of Claire Schaffner goes all the way to Coach Palmer on the CUC bench and brings the Cougars within 2 of set point.
Hunt is one of those players that switched from middle to opposite. And you can see with her hit, it really is a flat, hard ball, which is hard to dig.
A little floater attempt from Haley Gauna goes nowhere, hits the top of the net and dies. And for set point, it will be Shaira Marin, the senior out of Puerto Rico for CUC, trying to end the set here. Falling forward for the dig, as good hand there by Bethany Rothel. Kept it alive. Brooke Christensen trying to end it, and she will. Alyssa Company got a piece of it, but just not enough for her defense to play it. And CUC taking set 1, 25-16. So the teams will switch sides, and we'll prepare ourselves for set number 2. Cougars on top of the Red Devils, 1-0 in the match. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back here in just a second on the Cougars Sports Network. Back here in Geisman Gymnasium, set 2 about to kick off. CUC on top of the Red Devils 1-0 after a 25-16 set 1 victory for the home team. And Van, one of the things that you really were noticing, and you even mentioned a couple of times, and we talked about it in between sets, was the Eureka defense. It's just kind of, I mean, I know you'll do a better job explaining than I will. It's just kind of hard to pick up on what they're trying to accomplish right now.
It's like an unconventional style. I'm not even sure fully what the name is. Usually in volleyball, you use a perimeter style defense, or like if someone's blocking cross, you do line. But it seems that the wing defender on the side that the hitter's hitting for is creeping up, and they're covering the corners. And it leaves a lot of space on the opposite line and in the middle of the court.
As CUC will start this off with a kill just out of reach of O'Donohue, the Eureka Libero, who so far has dug up 3 attempts, second on her team to Brooklyn Shell. As serve here from Perkins is played by Donahue. As an attempt here will go out, but they're saying Eureka point. So CUC getting whistled there.
For the Cougars, really they need to capitalize on just picking apart this defense, getting the kills right in the center of the court or between them, like the whatever wing defender pulls back and the libero, and just getting that middle seam. It seems that's a lot of court to cover, and a lot of miscommunication happens there.
And we've seen Rachel Livesay have a couple of kills in that area, as she's currently at 4 kills, trailing the CUC leader Brooke Christensen with 7. As here is a service ace for Barraza. Barraza, a freshman on this Cougars team, one of several who is getting extended playing time her freshman year, coming from Cape Coral, Florida. As her serve this time is played by the Red Devils, and now over the net called on Eureka. So after a brief 1-1 tie, CUC picking up 3 straight points to make it 4-1.
Her setter is back row too, so they can't even push that ball over if it's getting tight.
A hit up, and now another whistle as Eureka's just struggling to be clean here, drawing quite a number of whistles during this little CUC 4-0 run. That one called on Franny Heckman, the junior middle blocker opposite side hitter out of Benson, Illinois. As good dig there from Barraza, keeps the play going. Christensen now, block up front, ball still live. Red Devils control it. As Rothel, goes down to the knees to pick that up. Now Christensen all the way into the back row. The Red Devils in possession. They send it to the opposite back row with Rothel. Now here's Acacia Brown, and Brown, she gets a kill, and whistle blew before the play was even dead, as another Eureka violation called. And they've helped CUC secure 5 straight points, a 6-1 lead, and now a timeout being called by Coach Van Bogert. The third-year head coach finds her team in a 6-1 hole in the set and a 1-0 hole in the match. So we'll have more set 2 action for you when we're back here on the Cougar Sports Network in just a minute. Five straight points for the Cougars have brought it to a 6-1 lead over the Eureka Red Devils. Peter Borkowski, Van Gato joining you on the Cougar Sports Network. CUC picking up the set 1 victory And they are very much in control here in set 2. Coach Cadence Van Bogart already using her first timeout of the second set, and we're only 7 points in. As there's a block, and this will be a point for Eureka. Good block up front. That combination of Haley Ghana and Franny Heckman getting a point back for their Red Devils.
Really for Eureka, their service kind of was crumbling there, which is they were out of system a lot, which that was one of their strongest strengths, especially when they're setting up their middles so much.
Set here, and a kill from Alyssa Company.
Company, who seems to be originally a middle but switched to the outside position and is really leading the team with kills.
5 kills so far on the evening for Company. Next closest is Ghana at 2. As a hard hit from Acacia Brown, it just sticks inside the line. Velocity and accuracy out of the senior from Addison, Illinois. As she's got her Cougars up by 4, and Brooke Christensen, the kill leader on the season for CUC and in the game, will serve up a errant ball. And that brings the Red Devils back within 3. Lexi Lero-Matas, her serve finds its way to Barraza as the Cougars look for another freshman in Neva Foster. And meanwhile, another freshman, this time on the Red Devils, Alyssa Company, earns herself another kill as she's starting to heat herself up here in the second set.
Foster has been that other outside that's been trying to solidify their 0-2 position on the taller end, and also really gets over the blockers on the other side. In volleyball, we call that OTing the block, but usually cranks that and takes that over line and usually getting over the other side of the court.
So far on the year, Foster with 80 kills coming into tonight's match. That was third on the squad, only behind a pair of juniors in Christensen and Lily Hunt. As meanwhile, the Red Devils look like a completely different team since that timeout. They have gone on a 6-1 run and a 4-0 run at most recent to tie this one up at 7 apiece. Here comes Foster. Foster, good dig by Donahue, but just a bad placement. As Neva Foster gets CUC back in front of a charging Red Devil squad.
And there's a struggle with the defense when you're not really covering line, especially from the wing defender spot. You really have those errors because you're diving in to get those balls.
Perkins, a strong push. Donahue going all the way back to the far side corner to pick it up. And here's a ball just in no man's land, and Bethany Rothel stretching about as far as she could to get it. And meanwhile, Neva Foster just tapping over the 50-50 ball. As her team back up by a pair, 9-7. Rothel, who started that whole play with a nice dig into the back line to serve. Ball up and into the top of the net. As CUC sees their lead shrink to 1. Company to serve now for Eureka. Number 16 in the black jersey. Her serve is hit awkwardly by Christensen. Cougars able to respond, though. Here's Shell, and that ball out the back and did not touch a Cougar. Looked like it might have got a piece of the blocker's hands, but the ladder referee saying no go. And CUC up by a pair again. 10 serving 8. Melena Adler to do so. Adler's serve finds its way to Company as here comes Shell. That hits the blocker's hands and down. Good adjustment there from Shell. Able to get a kill after the errant attempt. And she's got her team back within 1.
Really for the Cougars, really getting in a service run is what they need, and really just capitalizing on their front row presence.
And that ball was going out and getting just a piece of it. was Lexi Laromatis. She touched it basically as her team said out. So a mistake there from Laromatis gives CUC the point. They're up 11-9. Marin finds its way to Laromatis. Now here's a middle attempt from Ghana, and CUC eventually able to get it over. Laromatis looks for Shell. Shell just pops it over. Now Perkins, a strong attempt off the blocker's hands, leaves the field of play, and CUC up by 3 now as they look to try and pull away again in this set.
Rotho really has been really commanding this backcourt right now. She's leading the game in digs, I think with 14 as it's not fully updated. But really taking that presence and really trying to solidify her spot. They've been switching off libs, the Cougars, but having great serve receiving, having high dig counts is what you really need to be a great lib.
CUC, as I mentioned earlier, really sharing libero responsibilities between Bethany Rothel, the incumbent from last year. She played the majority of libero sets last season, as well as freshman Janelle White. You also have Barraza and Marin, who are both listed as liberos as well. Well, while we take a timeout here, Coach Van Bogart already calling her second timeout. As we are really just hitting the halfway point of the set, we can take a second to look at the stats leaders. Brooke Christensen leading all players and kills with 7. Meanwhile, Alyssa Company not too far behind with 6. She leads the Red Devils in that category. Assists-wise, Red Devils leaning on Claire Schaffner with her 6. As Nagel also has 5 of her own. For CUC, Milena Adler already up to 20 on the evening as she continues an impressive freshman campaign. And digs-wise, it is Bethany Rothel leading the charge with 14 digs. As for the Red Devils, it's Brooklyn Shell leading the charge with 8 of her own. So teams back out. Marin ready to serve for the Cougars. Her squad holding on to a 4-point lead here. Currently on a 3-0 scoring run. And Ghana blocked up front by Perkins. Hunt was in the vicinity too, as Jesselyn Perkins has been on a tear so far this game in the blocks category. Had a pair of blocks already before that last play as she continues to build an impressive freshman resume, and she does it again. Oh my goodness. Jesselyn Perkins building a brick wall. And she is almost single-handedly stopping any attempt from Eureka of even getting over the net.
She's using that height to her advantage, and she jumps high, too, for a tall middle, which gives her so much court presence, just blocking so many shots.
Attempt here, and Perkins, again, another hand on it. Christensen has to clean it up now. Hunt, her attempt way too strong. CUC maybe getting a little too excited there off another Perkins block. It wasn't as emphatic as before, but she definitely got a piece of it. CUC sees their 5-0 run end. Still up by 5, however. 10 serving 15 with Schaffner back to serve for Eureka. And a errant serve on Schaffner's part into the net. And CUC back on top by 6 now.
Another outstanding thing that Perkins does is really set up her backcourt with her blocks, really giving them the space where they could funnel that ball, and that's why Rotho is getting so many digs on the day.
And now Perkins, she'll get a service ace as Eureka just unable to read that ball close to the net. As Jesselyn Perkins doing a little bit of it also far tonight. Service ace number 2. She has 3 kills and now 4 blocks. And how about another service ace for Jesselyn Perkins? Doing that defensively and offensively. And she's a big reason CUC has gone on a huge run here to build an 18-10 lead. Next serve from Perkins. This one played by the Red Devils. They push it over, but a whistle blows. Another call on the Red Devils. As again, they are struggling to stay clean here. They've fallen a 9-point hole now.
That might have been one of the only doubles called for this season, since doubles really have been somewhat eliminated from the sport.
A rule change as Shira Marin, oh my goodness, a diving one-handed dig. CUC able to capitalize. Marin, the outstanding defensive effort. I mentioned it. She is listed as a libero on the roster. She showed why there. And then Brooke Christensen doing what Brooke Christensen's been doing all year, finishing off the play with a kill. Cougars doubling up. Eureka now 20-10 as make it 21-10. Eureka, the wheels are falling off here as CUC on a 6-0 run. They've gone on an 11-1 run in general since this game was at one point 10-9. And now Perkins hands Eureka a point. As Eureka, they're going to need a big run here if they want to make something of this second set.
Specifically, Eureka needs to key on this team's CUC, specifically serve receive, which isn't their strongest thing this year, but their just front row presence really dominates the court.
Here comes company, blocked up front. There's that front line presence. Acacia Brown and Lily Hunt.
Not even just a block, just a house straight down.
Almost like a slam dunk from Acacia Brown and Lily Hunt, as the Cougars are absolutely rolling here in set two. 22-11. 3 away from going up 2-0 on Eureka. Barraza, strong serve to Shell. And blocked up front, there's Rothel again. Here comes Christensen again off the blocker's hands, but Shell cleans it up in the back row. Company now, and Christensen, a good hand, and the ball gets over and dies down. Christensen and the rest of her teammates looking disbelief. No one, including the Red Devils, thought that one-handed attempt from Christensen would get over. Instead, CUC 2 away now from set point.
That's another kill for Christensen right there, too.
Number 9 on the evening for the junior. As there's Rothel. Adler looked for Brown. Brown wasn't ready for it, able to make something happen and just get it over. Now Marin for Adler. She looks for Christensen again, and Christensen, a vicious kill into the back row. Just out of reach of Brooklyn Shell and CUC. How about a 14-2 run to bring us to set point? They can close it out here with one more. Barraza, her serve is over. There's Donahue. Adler, she looks for Christensen again, and Donahue, great dig there from the Eureka libero, and just a misplay on the part of Haley Ghana. Try to send over a freebie, put way too much mustard on it, and because of it, CUC takes set 2 in dominant fashion, 25-11, and they take a massive 2-0 lead in the match. So CUC heading into set 3, they can close things out with a victory, while Eureka, they need to win to keep their evening alive. We'll see what happens when we're back here on the Cougar Sports Network in just a second. Welcome back inside Geisman Gymnasium. Peter Borkowski, Van Gato joining you on the call as CUC a dominating 25-11 win in set number 2, and that puts them up 2-0 on the match. And look at some of the team stats. Hitting percentage, a huge disparity there. 333 for CUC, 35 for Eureka. Eureka's also committed twice as many attack errors as the Cougars. Cougars have twice as many kills as Eureka, have 3 times as many service aces, have 2 more digs as well, and 4 more blocks. But Van, really the turning point, because that was a very close set to start, with Eureka even leading at a point. But the turning point was really this CUC defense just kind of hit a different level in that second set.
Rotho really has been leading this team in digs. She's averaging around 8.5%, which is a crazy stat, let alone. And then on the other side, on the offensive end, Christensen really is finding these corners, getting huge kills, really creating momentum for the team, and really allowing the team to keep serving and serving, which Eureka has been struggling with their service receive for a team that's their main strength.
Serve from Shire Marin to get us started here in set number 3, as that ball picked up by Rothel. She's been strong all night, as Van said, and now too much on it from Christensen. Knocks it out as a new look for both of these teams. Eureka rolling out number 8, Sadie Crafton, a sophomore out of East Peoria. Haven't seen her yet tonight. Meanwhile, CUC throwing out number 24, Harmony Cooper. We haven't seen her yet either. And again, we saw it all throughout Saturday. Coach Palmer, even when things are going well, is not afraid to shake this lineup. And there's an example of why. Eve Dickin, first set we've seen her in tonight, and she comes up with a big kill to even us up at 1.
Dickinson is also a lefty, which gives her a huge advantage on as a right side, as an opposite, really allowing her to swing more shots and have more mobility than a regular righty would compared to a lefty.
And a good frontline play by Perkins and Christensen. Eureka able to pick it out. Now Perkins will push over. There's the Red Devils. And Marin not able to get enough under it. Ball heads out of play. And Red Devils take a 1-point lead. First lead they've had in what has felt like forever after a dominant set 2 from CUC. Company to serve. And Marin, Brooke Christensen laying out to pick it up. As here come the Red Devils. Block up front, whistle blows, and it is on the Red Devils. So CUC thought they were going to get a point against them. Instead, it's a no-no from Eureka, and that makes us 2-2. Raza. Serve makes it to Mattis, and miscommunication on CUC's part. Ball dies down in front of everybody with everyone looking at it. And that puts the Red Devils back in front, 3-2.
When there's underclassmen on the court, that sometimes happens. Communication is like something that not always is there, but it's built over time, and it's strengthened, especially the more you play with each other. And just communication errors just happen with underclassmen.
And the Red Devils able to sneak that in the line just outside the diving Bethany Rothel's range, as the Red Devils take a multi-point lead. Back to serve again is Taven Miller. First time we've called her name tonight, as well as Coach Van Bogart trying to get some different looks as her team needs some signs of life in this third set. Adler for Christensen, off the blocker's hands and down for a point. For Christensen, Van alluded to it early, but has been so good at using the blockers to her advantage, getting bad deflections off of it, letting that ball die down and getting a kill out of it.
Volleyball, that's called small ball. Really, when a small, undersized outside is really just tooling, using the block, using joker shots, just getting any kill they can just by using everything on the court. Not getting these big kills, but using their height to their advantage.
Christensen, service ace. Aces back to back for CUC as they have taken the lead, 5-4. Christensen, another attempt, and it's Donahue. Red Devils able to play it. Adler, she looks for Perkins, block up front, Red Devils can't recover. And CUC, a 4-0 run, they take a 6-4 lead.
For the middles, running a slide is such an effective thing when you only have an outside with you in front row, because you're splitting that court, which makes it so hard for the defense to read both sides. Compared to when you run like an A ball or a 1 or a 2, you really are condensed to the left side of the court. So with these slides, they're really capitalizing on just the court space that they could take.
Good play by Rothel as a couple Cougars collide. As Foster and Adler, they're able to get back to their spots, however. There's a block up front. Perkins once again in on the play. Adler now looks for Perkins again. Perkins, strong attempt. Donahue cleans it up in the back row. Here's a little flip, and ball still somehow stays alive. Cougars just kind of batting at it, able to get it over. Barraza looking for Foster, and bad hit from Foster. Almost died straight down into the net. And that'll bring Eureka back within 2, 7-5. Shell back to serve. And too strong a serve from Shell. And that puts CUC back up by 3 now.
Perkins is having a strong game on the service line, really providing a lot of aces for the team.
4 service aces to be exact for the freshman. Can she make it 5? She does. Jesselyn Perkins. At this rate, she might hit her jersey number in amount of service aces on the evening. 5 service aces for Jesselyn Perkins. The middle blocker doing it all, and she gets another one. Absolute insanity out of Jesselyn Perkins. Has now 6 service aces on the evening.
Really, we talked about early, their first contact, this team, the Cougars, is one of their strongest plays. Really getting that ball and making sure the team is out of system, especially for a team that is their main strength.
And how about another? Oh my goodness, back-to-back-to-back service aces for Perkins. See if she could just keep it going here. CUC, the other 5 players on the court, to take a coffee break the way Perkins has been serving. And Eureka, they will finally get this one over, but way too strong on the attempt from Heckman. And finally, Coach Van Bogart calling a timeout as CUC, in the midst of a 5-0 scoring run, they have shot themselves up to a 12-5 lead. So they're going to talk things over while Eureka, they scramble to figure things out. So we'll be back here in just a second on the Cougar Sports Network. CUC on top of Eureka, 12-5 here in set 3. Jesselyn Perkins back to serve again for CUC. Peter Borkowski, Van Gato here on the Cougar Sports Network. CUC a 12-5 lead over Eureka. Jesselyn Perkins putting on an absolute clinic on the service line as CUC has to finally make a play, and Barraza does, getting the kill.
Such an unexpected, especially from a libero and a Diaz, swinging, going up,
Eureka wasn't prepared for that.
And for Barraza, that's kill number 2 on the year for her. She's been predominantly used as a server for CUC. Server and a defensive specialist, as she is listed as a libero on the roster. And as I just mentioned, her kills number, it's not been her specialty, but she gets one there. Eureka, they get a point out off the Perkins service error as a kill from Foster off the blocker's hands. And CUC up 14-6 as Barraza will now check out for Eve Dickin. Dickin almost like a late game reliever for Coach Palmer. Every time that they've played here, it seems that Dickin ends up coming in set 3 or later and brings some senior leadership to this squad, a younger squad for CUC. As you look at their current lineup, 3 freshmen, a sophomore, a junior, and then Dickin, the senior, on the core. As there's freshman Foster gets a huge kill, and CUC within 10 of closing out the Red Devils. Marin, another senior lead on this CUC squad, transferred into the Concordia last season as she commits a service error.
Seems like the Cougars know that their service right now for Eureka has kind of been crumbling and trying to serve as aggressively as they can. But if they truthfully just get the ball in, the other side will just make the mistakes themselves. Seeing that they have a lot of kill errors, a lot of attack errors, a lot of set errors, really need to capitalize on that.
Yeah, 14 attack errors so far for Eureka, 4 service errors as well, as they're hitting a measly 0.28 before that last point. As into the match, ready to serve for CUC is Katie Hadel. Eureka, after that last error, now hitting at .014, almost at 0 mark. As Hadel recently checked in for CUC, makes the play. Perkins, one-hand push over, and Company gets Eureka back in control of the serve. Eureka pretty much needs to go on a run now, as CUC, they could trade points at this point and still win this match, this set comfortably. As here comes Christensen, push, no good. Now here's a little flip from the Red Devils as Christensen sends the attack into the back row. Red Devils on top of it. Christensen right there. Adler, she looks for Dickin. Dickin, a floater. And the Red Devils reading that one well, but not able to recover. Pancake attempt from Malia Nagel, no good. And that makes it 17-9. As Mika Barraza checks back in to serve. Barraza up and over. Not a super high serve, gets the job done. Here comes Company, and Marin going down to a knee to make the play. Now Christensen, strong hit, strong kill. Made Lero Mattis do some yoga back in the back row. And she was all sprawled out. CUC doubling up Eureka here, 18-9. Quickly closing in on that 25-point mark. And top of the net, Barraza's serve hit. Still got over Eureka, playing it well. And Adler catches the defense off guard. That little trick play that those setters love to use works out for Adler. And it is now 19-9.
Really using that just front row presence. Really hasn't dumped a lot this set, but when those balls are tight and perfect, a perfect dig, it really keeps the back row on their toes when you jump.
Adler for Christensen goes out, no touch on the Red Devils' part, as they are now hitting the double-digit mark, 19-10. Taven Miller, sophomore defensive specialist out of East Peoria. Her serve played by CUC. Here comes Christensen, and Christensen into the net. Bad hit there from CUC's current kill leader in the match with 12. Still doing it, even with that mistake, on good accuracy. End up with 12 kills on 30 assists, and now a bad hit from Perkins as CUC a little sloppy here.
Perkins looked like she attempted to cut that crossbody, get that corner, but just cut it too much and went straight down into the net.
Miller serve played by Barraza. Now here comes Christensen. That block goes straight up. Shell able to play it. And just miscommunication. Eureka had Malia Nagel running over from the near side of the court. And she had a lot of ground to cover, just unable to do so. Christensen. As here comes Ghana Barraza. Good defense there. And now Foster with the kill off the hands of Company. As CUC up by 9, 21-12.
Especially with Foster, who can hit OT, this style of defense for Eureka is just so unconventional that it is in favor for Foster.
And just too much on that serve from Christensen. Barely on play. As here is Shell. And Shell way too strong on that serve. As it is again a 9-point lead for the Cougars. And Jesselyn Perkins, who has maybe been the all-around just MVP for the Cougars squad tonight. 7 service aces, 4 blocks, has done a bit of it all. As Ghana, her plays attacked, is blocked up front by Cooper. Now here comes Foster, blocked there, and Christensen falling over. Bad angle hit. Ran into Barraza as well. They check up on each other. As going back to serve is Chloe O'Donohue. We have not seen O'Donohue in a minute as her serve makes it over to Christensen. Adler for Cooper. Cooper a floater. And there to make the play is Heckman, but Eureka can't keep it going as their mistake gives CUC point number 23. Adler ready to serve. All up and just over the net. There's Shell. A high dig as now Company, her attempt hits the net, and Adler will get whistled on that play.
She's back row. She really can't do much with that ball when it's tight, especially towards the left side of the court. She did her best, but still dumped the ball technically, which you can't do when you're back row.
Serve here. There's Christensen. Adler for Dickin. Dickin hits it into the net. CUC, despite still being up by 7, this has probably been the sloppiest set we've seen out of the Cougars. As slowly but surely Eureka making it somewhat interesting. They still got a ways to go, as that certainly does not help. Service error from Nagel, and that brings up set point and match point for CUC. And they leave the ball in the hands of Shire Marin. See if she can end it with one more serve. Serve from Marin. Makes it over, ball up. Christensen tries to end it. Good dig there by O'Donohue, but not good enough. CUC in dominating fashion takes set 3, 25-16, and they sweep Eureka out of Geisman 25-16, 25-11, and 25-16.
The Cougars really showed their presence on the court, really on the service side, showing why they're a strong service team, but also showed their front row presence, really getting high kill marks and having a lot of people get an even spread of kills on the team. Although Christensen led, a lot of people had around that 4, 3, 2, 6 mark.
Now looking at some of the final statistics from the evening, Brooke Christensen leading all players in kills with her 13, while Alyssa Company leading the way for the Red Devils with 8. Assist-wise, Melina Adler hitting 30 on the night. As for the Red Devils, it was Nagel with 10. And service aces, we have to shout out Jesselyn Perkins. 7 service aces, by far the most of any player. Also led all players in blocks with her 4. And digs-wise, Bethany Rothel putting on a defensive clinic. 20 digs for the sophomore. Chloe O'Donoghue, the libero for Eureka, with 11 of her own. But before we start to wrap this portion of the broadcast up, Van, let's get your closing thoughts on a dominating non-conference win for CUC.
Overall, really, the Cougars really capitalized on Eureka's one of their strengths. And when it started to crumble, capitalize, get a lot of service aces, really kept the team out of system, especially for a team that had a lot of their service receive and they setting up their middles so much, really shaping that and switching up the offense and allowing them also on the Cougars end just to hit these corners against an unconventional defense. So overall, the Cougars really saw what the Eureka's weaknesses and capitalized them to get those kills and digs.
So CUC with the win, they improved to 8-6 on the year and 5-1 at home, while Eureka, they fall to 2-7 and 0-3 in terms of road play as they lose their 5th straight game, And before we get set for a post-game interview, do want to say thanks to everybody making this production possible. Our libero tracker for the night, Grace King, our camera person for the night, Luciana Moran Cruz, producers Lindley Southern and Emily Lucero. Scorebook, helping out with the scorebook is Abby Cooling, along with former Assistant Sports Information Director Sydney Palaskis-Lauer, making another return to Geisman Gymnasium to help out, and taking photos was Hannah Holmes. I was joined by Van Gato all evening, and we're under the direction of our graduate assistant, Sydney Lloyd, our assistant sports information director, Corey Welch, and our sports information director. One more time, CUC defeating Eureka 3-0 to improve to get another win on the season, set 8-6 on the year. They're taking on Benedictine this Thursday at 6 p.m., but don't go anywhere just yet. Post-game interview with freshman setter of CUC, Melina Adler, coming up shortly right here on the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back in just a second. Peter Borkowski back here on the Cougar Sports Network, and I'm joined by freshmen from the CUC women's volleyball team, Milena Adler. Milena, congrats, you guys taking down Eureka 3-0. And let's just get what went so well for you guys that game. You had 3 pretty dominating set wins over Eureka.
Yeah.
Just what was clicking for you guys? Why'd you guys look just so dominant tonight?
I think we have been working a lot on getting a faster offense, and I think especially applying that to the game, we've really just like applied it, and I think we really started to use it more this game instead of kind of a slower offense. I think that we were connecting really well tonight.
Yeah, and as for you yourself, 30 assists on the night, continuing a very strong freshman season. What's going well for you right now? You kind of talked about the team, but what are you doing personally, training in game, whatever it may be, just to keep putting up these really good numbers, these really great games, and help this offense succeed like it did tonight?
Yeah, so, I mean, becoming like a freshman captain, like just enforcing all those, or not enforcing, just, you know,
supporting and
supporting my team, just kind of focusing on that effort. Yeah.
And one other aspect of the game that went really well for you guys is the serving. I mean, Jesselyn Perkins, another freshman, had 7 service aces herself. Is that something you guys have been kind of working on a lot in practice?
Yes.
Is that something that just happened tonight? Can you kind of talk us through just what's making that serve game so strong right now?
Yeah, so we're really focusing on serve in our practices. It's something that, I mean, serve and serve receive, those are like our main focuses in practice, and we just want to become a really good serving team, and a really good receiving team, just keeping those points, getting out of our ruts really easily. Yeah.
And to wrap up here, you guys are back in conference play this Thursday, Benedictine coming to Geisman, and then you got another conference game on Saturday. It's a packed week for you guys. Just how is the team going about handling this week? I mean, you have the non-con game tonight. You took care of that in pretty quick fashion as well, about an hour game time. How are you guys going to go through the rest of the week, get ready for big conference games against Benny on Thursday and then another one here on Saturday?
Our team is really working on team communication and gelling together. So we're going to have like team meetings. We're going to have things where we're talking about what we need to work on, especially coming against these teams, and just honestly keeping a positive energy and just keeping that as our team culture.
Just keep that momentum going for sure. Well, CUC back in action this Thursday, taking on the Benedictine Eagles right here in Geisman Gymnasium. Coverage can be found at our website, cucougars.com, and the live stream on our YouTube page, CUC Sports. Milena, thanks for joining me here, and congrats on the big win over Eureka, and good luck this upcoming Thursday against Benedictine. But until then, this is Peter Borkowski signing off of the Cougar Sports Network, and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars!